Hi guys, this is Katie Johnson. Today I'm going to show you some cards that I made with this stamp set and this coordinating punch. They are found in the 2019 holiday catalog. If you don't have this catalog, let me know and I can get you a copy. If you do have that, it's the product that's shown on page 27. Here's one thing I do want to point out about the catalog real quick before I get it out of camera view. I love the fact that this catalog in the front shows you a bundle index. So it shows you all the different bundles that are found in the whole catalog, and man, there are a ton of them. But of course, the good thing about a bundle is that while you can buy the stamp set by itself or you can buy the punch by itself, if you bundle them, you save 10% when you buy the two of them together. Okay, so I bought this stamp set because I am a sucker for anything that's got animals in it, especially if the animals look kind of realistic, which they do on this one. And so I just wanted to have some fun, and plus I'm also a collector of unique punches. So if you're like me, you're going to have to add the moose to your collection of unique shake punches, because I've been doing this for 12 years and I have never seen a moose punch before with Stampin' Up! All right, so I'm going to show you a whole bunch of cards that I made with this, 14 to be exact. The sentiments are all Christmas sentiments, and clearly with the little Santa hat and the ornament, this was intended as a Christmas stamp set, but I'm going to start you off with some cards that are not Christmas cards. So this one, I used just the punch to make this image, and it's a very nice masculine card. These are our regular rhinestones, which I colored with a black Stampin' blends. You can color, an alcohol marker will color on the rhinestone, so you could use a Sharpie on that too. But this is just a very simple masculine card. Now here's the next one. And this one, I used the solid image stamp. And you can tell the difference between the stamp and the punch, because the punch, of course, has to be fatter so that it goes around the stamp. Now, I'm going to be working on a bunch of videos, so keep watching this channel or keep watching Facebook, wherever you happen to see this. But there's some techniques involved on this card, so I'm going to make a whole video on how to make this card, but I will give you a sneak peek little explanation for the video. First of all, you can tell that the colors are just sponged on here, and I needed something to make the line between the sky and the water. So what I did was I tore a piece of paper, and I laid that torn piece of paper down to block off the part that I didn't want to be stamping. Notice that this image down here is supposed to be snowdrifts, but it also works real well as water. And then I used the tree. The grass, though, there is no grass stamp over here, but what I did was I took that tree stamp and I stamped it sideways over my masking piece of paper, and I did the same thing over here. I took and stamped the tree sideways. So that's just a way to get a little bit extra mileage and use a stamp in a way that it wasn't necessarily intended to be used. So here's another one, and this one is an example to show why you love having a coordinated punch that goes with a stamp. There is no punch for this, so I used my scissors on a fussy cut around that cute little raccoon. But there's a lot of detail, a lot more detail, especially around the antlers on the moose. So I love having a coordinated punch. The other nice thing about this is that when you do have a punch, or when you take it on a separate piece of paper, I couldn't stamp that that moose on top of the trees. It would have looked stupid. The trees would have shown through the body of the moose. But having it as a punch, you can put it from a separate piece of paper and layer it on top and make scenes like that. Here's another one where I stamped and then cut it out. And by the way, again, you probably already know this, but you get a little bit of depth by doing what's called stamping off. So I stamped full strength and then stamped again without re-inking, stamped full strength and again without re-inking, and then that way you can put one stamp on top of the other stamp, and it gives you some depth to the forest, but you sure don't want to do that by stamping a moose on top of the trees. Here's one more. A nice reason again for having a punch that coordinates. This one is layered on top that woodland embossing folder. All right, so this one, I just stamped the image. It's not punched out at all. And I used the trees to fill in for just a background pattern instead of using a designer paper. And then this one again is just stamped. It's not punched at all. I did fussy cut the the hat and the scarf. They're not stamped. This one, I'm just charmed by this. I'm so excited. I can't believe how amazingly well it worked. It's the line image, and then this one stamped on top of it. Can you believe what a perfect fit that is? Or maybe I'm just amazed at myself and my ability to get it all lined up, but I'm just astounded at what a perfect match that solid image is there for that the body detail image. So there you are. That one I stamped, or that one I colored with markers, and this one I colored by stamping it. All right, so back to just the punch. And of course, the advantage of having a punch is that you can punch from either side of the paper, the right side and the back side, so you can get your image looking 2 different directions. And then I use the moose as the background image there. Here's a vertical, very similar one. And I'll point out one little thing different between these two. My background green frame there is just a big piece of paper behind. This one, I didn't want to use up all that copper paper. I just cut some little strips, and you see they don't meet in the corner, but I like that. I like the way that it looked. I thought it gave a very interesting, somewhat masculine look to the way that it framed that. All right, this one is a total case of somebody else's card that's out there on the internet. I just like the sparkly for the snow on the moose. I thought that was kind of cute. And then, of course, here's that snow stamp used as snow. Here, it's used as water again. And then this is another special technique. This is called reflection stamping. And I will be doing another whole video just on how to do reflection stamping. You've seen this background on several of the cards. You saw it on this background, and you saw it on this background. That is the birch stamp. It's a big background stamp. Kind of cool. Like that effect. Okay, so far, everything is pretty much focused on the animals in this stamp set. But guys, there are 2 beautiful trees in this stamp set. Everybody needs at least 1 good tree stamp. And this one has 2 good evergreen tree stamps. So let me show you some cards that focus just on the trees. This one uses 2 colors of green, the mint macaron and the shaded spruce. I came in and, well, first of all, what I did was I used a scissors to cut a square hole in a piece of scrap paper. And the reason I used a scissors instead of die cutting was because I did not want a precision edge with square corners. I wanted it something that was a little rougher looking around the edge. So then I stamped those trees through the hole, which is why you don't see the bottom of the tree. I stamped it, stamped off, stamped it again. Then I came with a sponge, and I just kind of brushed that same color over it. So I got kind of a misty look for a forest in the background. And then I came in and did a full strength stamp with that with the tree again. So there's one look with a tree. Here's another card that is just the tree. A very simple, easy to put together card. But look at the difference between those 2 tree images. This one is sharp and crisp and clear, and this one has a very watercolory look to it. In fact, this is a technique called faux watercolor, and I will be doing a video on this technique as well, but of how I did that. I stamped it, and then I came back and used my watercolor brush, paintbrush, and I just went lightly over the ink, and it kind of made it bleed on the paper and spread out and gave it that watercolory look. All right, here's the last one. For this last one, there's lots of stamping and lots of cleaning the stamp in between each time because it went in several different ink pads. I did it in white ink first, white craft ink, and then heat embossed. Then I did it in the silver delicata ink and sprinkled it with clear embossing. And then I came back and stamped again in the white ink. And you'll notice the snow up here. The snow is part of the stamp set. Guys, this is a really versatile stamp set. And again, I encourage, if you don't have a tree stamp set, to look at that one. If you're an animal lover like me, definitely put this into your collection. I will put a link below this video if you want to purchase this. And please subscribe on YouTube so that you get links of, so you get notifications of future things like this. And YouTube or Facebook, please give it a thumbs up. That way I know that you like this type of content. Thanks, and we'll see you again next time.